I think I
You might
found
have.
Shay and
Yeah.
I was like, I'm sorry, whatever
Oh,
what's in there is my fault. I owned up to it. I smelt it and dealt it.
felt it and dealt it and then took accountability for it. I remember just leaving that after, like, only having worked with you for, like, a couple of months at the time and being like, "This is we're gonna have fun. If nothing else, this is gonna be a good time."
My business is your business. It's all up in my lady business with me, Mary Nisi. Welcome to All Up in My Lady Business. Today, I'm back on with Melissa, the reason for the season, who's giving like the skull cap. Did you make that?
I didn't make this one, no.
Which is weird because you make a lot of great stuff.
I do.
But it was giving Captain Turbot vibes.
Oh, yes. I mean, this is definitely, like, remember when I came in the office the other day and I was like, I'm going for, like, kindergarten teacher on an island outside of Maine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like to say that my style is middle school art teacher. I probably should cross it with something because I'm
You
not
should
very
cross it.
I'm not very artistic, but glad to
That
have
is a complete lie. Also, is it
what?
that you're not very artistic?
Oh, well, I mean, I can't use my hands to make art.
I'll chew on that.
Why don't you think that's true?
That you can't use your hands to make art?
Oh, I mean, okay, all right, I see what you're saying. I see what you're saying. I have a sewing machine right back there. I can make yeah, sure. I guess yes.
Okay.
Basically what's happening right here is I'm devaluing historically women's work.
Yeah. No, go ahead and take that back because it's a lie. Anyway.
Bring it back. Sing it
I
back.
can't take any more songs after yesterday. Like, I need, like, a whole,
Oh my God.
a whole just complete brain scrub.
Yeah.
I mean, it was great, but, like, my brain
We
is
should talk
still
about it a little bit, what happened yesterday. But
garbage. Yeah.
Melissa, I'm getting good feedback about the first episode of you is aired. And so
Really?
it's in the ether, yeah.
Well, I
Yeah.
mean, I knew it had aired, but I'm surprised about the positive feedback having to do with my involvement in any way, shape, or form.
Oh my God, Melissa. Look at this lack of self-esteem that we were both operating within.
Now, listen, okay, touche, but also, like, I don't know, whatever. This is episode 4 of us doing this. DJ Paul Simpson, shout out if you're listening.
Woo-hoo!
Said that he listened to it and I didn't even know how to respond. I was thinking to myself, like, as soon as the words leave my face, I have forgotten what they were. And so without re-listening, which I haven't done, I have no idea what he's responding to in any way.
Mm-hmm. My friend Mark Masters, shout out Mark Masters. He's always been he's been such a great listener. He's like so nice to me about the little podcast, and he's a podcaster too, and a very well respected music journalist. And he really enjoyed the Prince and the Resolution. So
Yeah.
we're clever.
Spread the good
We're
word.
clever. But
If there's anything we excel at, it's pun making.
it
So
truly is. So I do think we should talk about the training process and how yesterday, because that was cool. Do you want to
I've
talk
been
about
thinking
that?
about so many things. So yeah, last night in Pillow Talk in the Riddle House, it was all about just like yesterday being a strong example of the transformation of our processes and how beautiful things can go when everyone is committed to their part in the process. And I think that
I believe
still
what
had
right
some,
butts in the right seats.
yeah, I think I was still holding on to some skepticism or just like, if I don't control this with an inch of its life, the possibility of it going right is like da 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 da. Just in my head, my
Yeah.
internal dialogue. And I didn't let the internal dialogue influence my behavior. I've been like, no, in the spirit of the let them of it all. I'm like, we've made a determination and it all went so better than if I had inserted myself in any way.
Yeah. The I don't agree with that. I feel like had you inserted yourself in Do I have a stain? It's wax from, I got a bikini wax before I got on this call. Um,
Not from candle making. Okay, you
no,
guys.
no, 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 no. I'm going to
It's from
Panama
the
on Saturday.
no.
I can't look like I've got bad things happening down there. Anyway, yeah, it all went great. Let's tell them what it was. So basically, I guess we're going to fast forward, I guess, through the timeline. Historically, the process of getting DJs to come and work for me at Toast and Jam started off with obviously just me. And then I had quickly needed more DJs because I was getting more leads than I could handle. This is 2006. By the time I had to start adding people in, I launched in November of 2005, and by March of 2006, I was like, I can't do this alone anymore. And I had and I wanted to make sure that anybody who worked for me wasn't coming in with bad habits. So I didn't want to hire anybody who'd been a DJ before. And I also didn't know many DJs. Like, I don't live in DJ culture. I don't go to
You were
the
also trying
core
to hire ladies, right? You were trying to, like, represent, and there wasn't a huge population of ready
women. Yeah,
women
ready
DJs ready to join your company in
right out
2000.
of the gate. Yeah. So I initially recruited Kate and Rachel, who were DJs on WLEW, which was the first radio station that I'd worked on. And I may have already told this story, but uh, I met them at this place called the Pizza Bar, which went on to be the Continental, and I think it might be called something else now. But I wasn't even sure which one was Kate or Rachel when I met with them, and I still didn't know after the meeting. But anyway, I brought them in, and I basically just had them shadow me at weddings, and I told them exactly how I do things, and then they just did that. Until I had Sebastian, I was able to train every DJ that came because I was still doing, between 40 and 60 weddings a year at that point, which is not even that many. I mean, it is a lot. It is a lot, but
But
when
not a lot compared to what y'all were
I
doing back then, like, which was a murderous, insane number
yeah,
of weddings, double
yeah,
bangers, triple bangers, like,
yeah,
all through wedding season, so
yeah, yeah. I mean, we did too many weddings back then. So I had my hand in training everybody. And then once I had kind of step back more after I had Sebastian. I wasn't doing as many weddings, so I didn't have as many opportunities to train people. I would take a new DJ every single time I DJ'd because there were so few events, and I would get the people, and I would get some element of it, but everybody there was so trained by me that it was very easy to go like just go out with Allie or go out with other people, and it would all be very similar to what I was doing. And
I would
then
say, like, not to interject, but just from
mm,
what I've learned for the past few years is that, like, it wasn't so much as, like, they needed to, like, copy you exactly. It was more about, like, sort of the core values of the company, right? And, like, making sure that you were doing these, like, certain things that aren't things that you would think of until you did them wrong. And everyone was sort of able to benefit from you telling them in advance, this is why you want to do it this way because, of this. And then people, of course, developed their own sort of voice and how they do it. But the core essence of, like, showing somebody how to use a microphone is so that they don't get up there and then make you look bad and make themselves look bad and everybody in the room be like, what? Um, so anyway, so, like, degrees of separation away from Mary for a long
yeah,
time were, pretty, you could trust that, like, if you had been trained by somebody who was trained by you, that the core message was getting through, and you might do it a little bit differently, but that as long as that core aspect of the training was, at you know,
yeah.
driving it, that it was working.
And the proof was in the pudding, as they
Right.
say, because we continued to get great reviews. Like, we continued to operate as if I was the person that was doing all the training. So I knew that it was all going well. And then
COVID.
COVID, and we just kind of lost the plot a bit just because we were trying so hard just to keep our heads above water. And I don't know if I took anybody out with me. I don't think I must have taken some people out here and
Mhm.
there, but no one I wasn't doing any training. And the people that were mostly training were people that weren't even trained by me. I was just kind of crossing my fingers and hoping that
It's like
that things were
Aiken
going.
and Bacon's away from Mary,
Yeah.
at that point.
And so basically,
Now it's gobbled, right?
yeah, there was a lot of gobbledygook
It's
going on, and then we didn't hire anybody for God, 2 years.
Yeah, that's a long time.
I don't think we hired a DJ for 2 years. And so, you have people that age out of the system. And so we had people that were leaving the company, some people, a lot of people, there were people that left. And it was always good. I mean, for the most part. There's some people that left. I wish it would kill to have them back in my life, but people move on. Anyway, my point is that
Move away.
we didn't hire for 2 years, and the DJs that were coming in weren't necessarily trained by me. And so when I realized, and we started getting a bunch of complaints, and that was the
I
real.
wanna I'll soften that by saying a bunch of complaints relative to the number of complaints we had ever gotten. It's
Yeah,
still a pretty small number of complaints relative to the number of events we were throwing annually,
sure.
but just way more than we had ever.
Yeah, I mean, we would usually get like a complaint a year, and it was usually kind of bullshit.
Yeah.
And now we were getting like 5 or 10, and which is like, and that I don't deal well with that kind of feedback. And most of those complaints were bullshit, but some of them had some grains of truth in them. And then I started getting panicky about um the people that were out there representing the company. And
Oh, yeah,
so,
you learn what the complaint was about and be like, "Wait a second, we shouldn't be doing this way, at all." And granted, like, there was always, I think, some way that you could see what the DJ was thinking in
mhm,
why they did what they did. It wasn't like just gross negligence, like,
mhm.
ever,
And it
but
never was. Never, and
right.
I've never had
Yeah,
a where I felt like the DJ was just like didn't care. It was like
completely.
it was more like, why did that even
Just
happen?
easy things that if they had been trained properly, likely would not have occurred. And so sometimes those things had to kind of come through to realize, like, wait a second, this shouldn't be happening if they were doing it this way that is actually the process that it should be done.
Well, and not to mention that we had to do some kind of soul searching on our side too, because, you know, we also realized that when we did like a postmortem on what happened, there were things that we could have done in the sales process that would have alleviated a lot of these problems. And so, like, this kind of goes back to like my training in general comes from a place of like, I am very much, if I do something wrong once, I never want to do it wrong again. And so I always want to figure out what I did wrong. And so I can correct it so it never happens again. Some people don't do that. And that's, they just want to keep making the same mistakes over and over again and then being surprised why it keeps happening. And I don't operate that way. And so to do the postmortem on how we were doing things wrong once we brought the sales in house was, realizing that, a couple of the weddings that we had complaints on had less than 80 people, or,
20 people on a Sunday afternoon
and the
where
thing
we
is,
to one person in the
yeah.
coupling, like,
Well, that's a
"Oh,
difference. Being in a meeting with a client and saying, "We're gonna give you an absolute rager," and it's like, "How many people are coming?" 75. Whew. How many? What's a friends versus family? Oh, 85% family and 15% friends. And it's like, okay, well, not that that's impossible to turn into a rager, but it's a little bit harder.
setting expectations
Yeah,
is
and
the name
then
of my game."
but the really good point was when you kind of raised there, which was that both halves of the couple weren't in attendance. So if both people aren't in the meeting with the DJ, then one person is the union rep for the whole relationship. And, to be fair, for the most part, when people are getting married, they've only been together, I would say 3 years,
Yeah,
maybe
3 is
5
kind of
years.
yeah, 3 to 5.
And so you learn a lot about a person in those 5 years, but you don't learn everything, and you certainly aren't spending that much time with their family. And you aren't you aren't looking at their family through the lens of, are these people fun? Or, they had, like, the bride hasn't gone to 80 million weddings with the groom side of the family and doesn't know that Come on Eileen is like, you have to play it. So if one person is there and they think they know this person so well, we don't need the other person there. We only need the one. And that just is patently untrue, because usually what happens is you get to the wedding, the groom hasn't been at any of the meetings, and all of a sudden it's like, they get to like the last 10 minutes of the wedding and it's like, wait, they haven't played Come on Eileen yet. And it's like, we didn't know that was a must play. And so, but instead of getting mad at perhaps the half of the couple that was making all these decisions to try to get the other person to participate more, we then become the problem because we didn't read the client's mind. And so you really need to have both people there in order to be able to get all the information that you need in order to make that happen and make that event go well.
So we learned that in the analysis and then immediately incorporated those, um, that feedback and that, setting that expectation with our couples because they may not realize that, right? And
No, and
the
they wouldn't.
table is the expertise and the recommendations that are going to help them get the wedding that they want. And one of those is group participation. It was, key to success.
Yeah, so and I think also that I think we've talked about this before, but just I feel like this is just a more complainy generation that, they're willing to, things that wouldn't have been that big of a deal. I think that they're just, you're encouraged to write a review about the roll of toilet paper you bought on Amazon. So like they assume that everybody wants their opinion on everything.
Sure. And I always think, I mean, whatever feedback we've ever gotten, positive or negative, I think always gives us something to reflect on and something to look at and be like, is this something that we should adjust or is this a fringe, case? But good and bad feedback bad
Yeah.
feedback. I think it's good feedback. It's
Yeah.
it's all good, but it really, I think, started to make us realize like what we expected was our product out there in the world wasn't exactly living up to, in some cases, what we hoped. And so trying to like refine the training and so the thing that we've been talking about, right, was yesterday we held our
Yeah.
first training showcase at the
Yeah. So
joinery.
I finally was able to find an excellent DJ manager that understood the assignment. Chris G, love him so much. And he basically spent the last, I guess we hired most of those people in March or April.
Yeah,
And
it's just baffling to me, but that it's already been that,
yeah.
that long.
And so we got to we used a venue that we love that we work at all the time, Joinery. Shout out Shay.
Love that.
And so Chris spent the last 8 months training these DJs and getting them all up and running. And then we'd never done anything like this before. And I was like, because I just needed to, like, it's like, I remember going to see a DJ and their speakers were they weren't level. And
Mhm.
I'm like, how did that happen? Like, not level speakers is it's just like little things where I'm like, so then I realized people aren't thinking as globally as I need them to. So we had Chris do all this training. They've been all just working really hard. And then yesterday we did this thing where we got the venue and then they had to come in, set their gear up. I got to see what their gear looks like. I got to see how they set their gear up. What does the table look like when they're done setting it up? What do they think looks good? And then what actually looks good as far as I'm concerned. And then they had to line us up this fake wedding party, and then introduce this fake wedding party into the room and then go into the first dance and then do a speech and then go into the parent dance. And then they had to spin like 10 to 15 minutes of a dance set that you would play for general dancing. And they had a lot of freedom on the music to choose. And I gotta say, they all
I
basically
danced my
killed
butt
it.
off. I danced my butt off.
We danced
Like,
all
I'm
day long.
say, it was so fun, and it was just like, you talk frequently about how, COVID was kind of the end of the organic training, right? Like of people just being in the same room and kind of learning how to have a first meeting with a couple, how to, do certain things, what songs are working on dance floors, what's starting to get stale, and just those conversations just flowing and not being scheduled and programmed and whatever. And yesterday was like, I think aside from the staff meetings and the base camps and the kind of uh, for those who don't know what a base camp is for Toast and Jam, like our ongoing training, intermittent,
We
meetings
do
that we have in
it's
the
like a
office.
monthly get together at the office where it is BASS
Topical,
base
BASS,
BASS camp,
based.
and we do like weird skill shares
Yeah.
at those. So
Fun, yeah.
yeah,
Esoteric, weird mixing, things. I learned so much. But yeah, so it was the first time that I had seen sort of that like A highlight for me was Jennifer getting there, and then Siobhan was setting up, and then, like, Jennifer ran over and gave Siobhan a hug, and I know, really did, like, touch my heart because I was just like, "This is what's so great," is just, like, you start this journey with, like, this cohort of people, and you're all kind of learning a new thing, and, like, I've felt that kind of camaraderie in my life, and I know how great that is when it's genuine and you feel like you have these people around that are really meant to be there to support you and help you and share an experience, and those 2, running together and kind of giving each other a hug was just really like the cherry on the training Sunday yesterday, and in general, just getting to be around everybody, and you and Chris being, your maid of honor speeches for Chris and, all of the hilarious loops that you threw them for at various stages. And yeah, it was just like it was a real window into what's possible when, again, everybody's just kind of in the right mindset,
Mhm.
has the same goals, sharing the same values around what they're doing, and genuinely feeling like supported, and there's no ego, and like you're not coming at this with like a, you know, I don't know, just everybody had such a great attitude. It was so,
Well, and I
so
just had to be nitpicky, like, that's the thing is, like, there really weren't any, like, giant red flags. It was, like, it was very nitpicky, like, make sure your tablecloth is straight and,
yeah.
like, like when we do introductions, like, well, this is a little more
I know.
details than
Oh
probably
god.
want to have, but like, it was kind of like, where's the destination that they're going to walk to when they walk into the room doing introductions? Like, and they'd be like, I don't know. And I'm like, well, you need to know. Like, you need to like, I make it up, even if you don't know, just say it with authority and they'll do it. Like they are just sheep at this thing and they just need you to like get them through the night until you can get to the dance party. And a lot of the training that, that I want to put the DJs through so they understand is that, I don't think of like the wedding as something like they're kind of just rolling their eyes and looking at their watch until the dance set starts. Like every single part of the night is important because if any part of that night goes wrong, it's going to fuck up the dance party. And so if you need, the ceremony has to happen, cocktail hours happen, introductions, cake cutting, all these little things that have to happen. And you have to be able to schedule those things in. But if one goes wrong, it sets off a, what do they
Even
call that?
for the, chain reaction,
All right, thanks.
it sets off, a chain reaction for everyone, the couple, for the DJ, because now you're stressed,
The
like,
caterer,
you're coming in.
photographer.
Yeah, so, it is a huge amount of responsibility, but I thought yesterday was just, like, I don't know, the best example of how you can kind of show up and prime them for what these, like, little mistakes are, just in doing it in real time. I think just calibrates your ability to anticipate. You're like, okay, wait, I'm lining people up. Now I'm always going to see Mary in my head, holding the microphone down by her side when she's giving her speech, and like, remember, like, no, you have to put it, up to your face. It was also kind of nice to see just like the continuity that everybody kind of had the same message about how to hold a microphone, which I suppose has to do with there is really one way that you should be holding a microphone. But,
Mhm.
uh, that they all knew what that was and were able to communicate it, was fun. I was my other, highlight just for myself was when we were doing the mock lineups, for being introduced into the reception as the bridal party, was getting assigned Jinx Monsoon, and then kicking her to the curb and getting Trevor Lawrence instead. And then that ended up, being the nice like, "Oh, wait, this could happen. You could end up getting a different groomsman, or bride or person assigned, to you to walk out to." So, uh, I
Yeah, or,
enjoy.
walking up and being like, "You need to announce the shuttles that are gonna be coming every 15 minutes," or,
Yes.
you know,
Jennifer did really great with the shuttle
yeah,
announcements.
or,
"I'm not tired. Are you tired? But in 45 minutes, the shuttle
yeah.
is coming."
Or I mean, but I will say also, like, I tried throwing a bouquet toss on to one of the DJs. I'm like, "Oh, we're doing a bouquet toss now," and they'd never seen one, and so and then Chris is like, "I didn't train them on that because we never have them," and I'm like, "But you might." And so, like, kind of realizing, like, even, like, holes like that, like, do I wanna have to train them how to do bouquet toss? No, I don't wanna have to, but someone's gonna want it, it's like
Yeah.
money dances, like
Yeah.
We could have sprung a money dance on them, which we haven't done that in a long time either. But
Hopefully, it's coming out of the meetings that they have those kinds of things in mind, like, Chris's wedding this weekend with the, bride getting kidnapped during the reception, and that whole setup.
I didn't hear about
I
that.
guess it's a Romanian tradition that the bride gets kidnapped during the reception, and then I'm gonna get this totally wrong, but how I remember him saying it was that, like, then the bride's family, like, grills the groom on questions about her, and if he, like, gets them right, he, like, earns her back. Something of that.
It'd be funny if, like, if he gets them wrong, she goes to the gulag. Like, that seems very, like, Eastern Bloc to be like, in Romania, wedding gets you. And, I that's funny. I did not know. I've
But
never
yeah, so
seen that.
anyway, yeah, so he found that out early on, so now he knows, what to expect and that it's not no one's getting really kidnapped. 'Cause, I mean, in this day and age, that could happen. So I'm glad he knows it's a performative tradition as opposed to real life
Yeah.
abduction.
Kidnapping? Yeah, sure. But basically, we did hear the same songs over and over again, which was kind of interesting. Well, I mean, not really interesting. I mean, there's music that everyone's playing right now. Like, I heard
Yeah.
"Gimme, Gimme, Gimme" a lot
Hmm.
yesterday.
Yeah.
But then I also got to hear some songs I haven't heard in a long time, and I was like, "I need to put that in my set."
Can you guess what my favorite was?
Mm,
Mm,
no.
Amy did it.
Oh, Common People, Pulp.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was just like a nice break. We didn't really hear much kind of like, dance
Cool.
floor appropriate, like early 2000s, Brit
Or
pop.
even just, like, indie-ish stuff,
Yeah.
like, I mean,
It was all
it
pretty top
was,
40, but
um
super fun.
But basically, the moral of the story for me was I trusted Chris. I didn't really insert myself too much into it. He's a walking green flag, so I figured like whatever he is going to be showing people was going to be accurate, and I was correct in doing that, and I let him do it, which was you wanted me, your resolution for me was to like let go and let people do things. So that I felt great after that day.
Yeah. Yeah.
And,
And
it
Molly,
really
our Molly, I guess she's not exclusively ours, joinery,
but she's mine.
but yes,
Yeah.
just like, I don't
Our
know.
salesperson, she's our salesperson, and so part of this was so that Melissa and and Molly, who are our salespeople, so to speak, knows what those DJs are good at so that when they're in the meetings and the client says specific things, then we know,
At least
this
have a good
DJ.
sense of, yeah, how adaptable, they are on certain topics or I mean, I've said it a million times, but that I always feel like if I use like design as an example, like if you get with an interior designer who shares your same sense of personal style, you're more likely to get a much more sort of creative outcome than if, you're trying to do a country kitchen and a contemporary person. So it's like it just makes sense to be able to put couples with people who not our DJs are ultimately super versatile and we have enough runway for them to get to learn anything. But if you can make a match with somebody where they just already naturally get you and what you're after, then and that DJ is available, to me, that's just the recipe for magic. So
Yes.
yeah, yesterday was kind of getting to know everybody on a performance level. What do they sound like? What's their MC style? Are they smooth? Are they high energy? And then just have more tools to be able to make um, great matches and have great collaborations between our couples and our DJs.
Yeah. I mean, I think that it's important for any business owner to kind of have that kind of like in-depth knowledge of like what is actually happening it's the difference between working like on the business and in the business, which you want to be working on it and not in it, is what I've been basically taught since I started, doing businessy things. And because, it's like it's interesting because I think, like, I was actually when I was at the waxer today, me and Gina were having a pretty funny not funny, we were very much talking about what's going on in the world right now, and she was telling me that she saw a TikTok that this woman was like, "Listen to this," and she was calling her insurance company to get talk to them about something, and it literally said, "All of our agents are AI. If you wanna talk to a human, you have to pay $5 to talk to a human at the insurance company that you're paying $1,000 a month for." Like,
Mhm,
and it's like the enshittification,
mhm,
the naked capitalism,
mhm.
like everyone is the same. We're all just a number and a dollar sign to them. And, it's like small business owners don't have that. I mean, they shouldn't have that kind of one size fits all. They actually can't because we're actually seeing our clients in the face and we seeing our clients in the face and punching them. And you can't be that much of a shithead when you are dealing on the ground. And I think that's part of why reason why they keep gobbling like private equity keeps coming in and gobbling up all these businesses because then they can make them as uniform and shitty as possible. So then nobody really has to reach for anything if everybody's just kind of operating in this middle place where, the client doesn't matter. If you're not going to pay for it, somebody else will. Like, I don't I don't know how you can look yourself in the eye and own a business and be okay with that.
Yeah. No, it's all pretty shocking. I had a personal call with State Farm this morning that was also just like incredibly unpleasant. And I am glad that our values are such that we we know what we're bringing to the party for our couples. No, I guess pun intended. And even like when we were doing our review with our lovely Lorraine
Lorraine.
last week, just like sort of putting, like thinking about what this company looks like in 10 years and it really being about just being able to keep doing what we're doing the way that we're doing it. And we're not reaching for some crazy brass ring that, is like a gross brass ring, or
Well,
just because that's what everybody says success is having more, 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 more.
yeah,
And
it's
it's really just
endless growth.
yeah.
It's like, when is enough enough? And also, like, what do you have to trade off for that kind of
Mhm.
what do you have to trade off for that growth? Because, it's like I go back to the douche nozzle that owns, Home Depot, when I saw him at that conference, and the guy, he's like, "Oh, I love going into stores, and, we really are a family, and da 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 da." And I'm like, I don't know if this is, like, slander for me to say, but he seems like the kinda guy that's, like, killed a hooker. Like, he has, killed a hooker energy about him, and it's like, "Have you been to one of your stores, sir? Have you been to one of your stores?" Like, nobody cares.
Mhm.
Nobody if you find somebody that cares, you feel like you wanna go up to the manager and be like, "I just had a very good interaction with one of
Yeah,
your
yeah,
people." And they're
yeah.
like, "What did they do?" And I'm like, "They said please and thank you." And that is about the level
They
of
actually helped me find, instead of just pointing to the aisle and the thing, they actually, like, took me over and showed me exactly where it was or whatever. Even that's kind of, I guess, above and beyond, but it is sort of fascinating how the exception has now become it being good service as opposed to the exception being bad service.
yeah.
It's just so nice to, I guess, because that feels sort of uncommon now, that just 98% of the time it's gonna be spot on and perfect and wonderful and good, they'll, like, be around people who have that same level of, commitment and drive. I don't sit up and work on spreadsheets to try to help keep things organized and keep everybody, living up to their availability and capacity and following up on leads and stuff just for S&Gs. I want all of our people to be working as much as they want to. I know you want this too. And if we can just have everybody out there making dance floors amazing for as long as we can, to do it the way that just feels good to us, which is not being insanely, overpriced or not doing what everybody else does and just raising prices every year, year over year, just because that's what everybody else is doing. Just really look inward instead of outward for what makes sense for us as a business.
Well, and I just don't wanna price out everybody that is cool because the
Yeah.
cool people will make this job,
Yeah.
worth doing. And so
Yes.
to go back to the showcase, it's like,
Yes.
it's part of the pivoting as a business owner where I'm like, "Okay, in order for me to train people the way I used to train them, I have to do 40, 50 events a year, and
Yeah.
I'm not doing that. So
Yeah.
how can I make sure that I am getting the people out there that are going to be operating at the level I want them to operate at?" And it's like, okay, we didn't really come up with the idea for truly getting the showcase kind of together until like 3 months ago, maybe?
Yeah, we were kinda, like, trying to do them in the office and, like, setting that up and just figuring out how logistically that was gonna be really
Weird and hard.
challenging and not
Yeah.
actually that not that illustrative of really
Yeah.
loading in and loading out of a venue and that kind of thing. So
And so, we kinda kept changing what it was gonna be. I mean, and it's like I think it was frustrating for some people because I was kinda changing the rules and kind of what I wanted to have from it, but then I had to kinda keep thinking through, like, "Okay, how am I gonna know if they are good at emceeing? How am I gonna know that they are good at DJing? How will I know that, they're
all I'm
gonna be
hearing is Whitney Houston right now.
and then I said, "How will I know?" It was crazy. I played that song on Friday night. I DJ'd. I had
That's
a hot
right.
flash dance at Space on Friday night.
The most
I
epic.
know.
Can't
It
believe
was
it was
truly
just a few days ago. Like, we have been through so much in, like,
I know.
less than a week.
Less than a week, yeah, and it was so magical, but I did get to play
Was
How
great.
Will I Know, which I've never played, which is, like because, it's a secondary single, and,
They loved
those
it.
don't always hit, but they did that night.
They sure did.
But I do think that, like, it's important to create new systems, figure out how to solve them, and now I feel like I could never be a part of a hiring process again, and I think that I would still feel comfortable that we would still be getting the quality and the abilities out of the people that we're bringing on.
Likewise. Yeah. I mean, again, I think you always sort of not you, like us or just in general, like,
The royal you.
yes, the kind of, like, fear that you live in when your business is based on, like, talent and people, like, going out and being able to do a thing, right? And you're always like, "The number of events we can do is related to how many DJs we have, but we need all of these DJs to be of a certain caliber so that we can live up to what we're telling clients and houses what's gonna happen at their wedding, and, if so and so leaves, then that would be, like, the most tragic thing ever," and it would be just because we would freaking miss them, but, like, I had to go through sort of, like, this journey of, like, this nice big hiring cohort and proving, just in my own experience that, like, no, there's, like, really cool, awesome people that are capable and talented and driven and get it and wanna do it, and, like, as long as we keep trying to make it an awesome place to work, there are gonna be people that have those skills that wanna work for us and with us too, and so being able to have that much, like, interaction, even though Chris has, a ton more than you and I, but just seeing all of that just out in the open, really seeing them do it and having a good time doing it too, because that's, I think, something that is a differentiator for Toast and Jam is like, we're not yammering on the mic once the dance floor gets going, but we're engaged. And it's like being able to see that people can, you know, really cross the deck as it were, to engage with people, but not in um, you know, a cheesy way. The third wall, fourth wall? What is it? What are they
It's the
saying,
4th
TD?
one.
Third wall.
I mean, you need 4 walls to make a room.
Really?
Yeah.
But yeah, so anyway, it couldn't have been more what I was hoping it was going to be. If anything, it was more and
It
just
was
seeing
better.
everybody. Yeah,
It was
like,
better than I thought it was gonna be. I'm not
for
gonna
it.
lie, I was dreading it.
Really? I didn't know
Yeah.
that.
I was dreading it pretty hardcore because I didn't wanna, like, but it was if it went badly, that would have been really bad, and I know that's obvious, but, like, I'd be like, "Fuck. I
Oh,
just
yeah,
brought on
I
these
guess I
8
just really
people,
had no
spent."
expectation that they would be bad. Maybe that's what made me look forward to it.
Yeah. Yeah.
I
I
don't know.
mean,
Anyway, it was wonderful.
it's kinda part of the thing where you also think that I think I'm the only person that can do everything perfectly,
Sure. Yeah, yeah.
and so it's nice when I'm not, so then I can stop thinking about that and stop worrying about it.
If it was a DJ EP exam or something, maybe I would have been a little more breath holdy about the whole situation. But yeah, I mostly was like, can everybody show me, just be natural. Show me that you can have a good time and then pick good songs. And I feel like everybody really did that uh, with great success. And
Yeah.
and they all had good looking equipment. I'm still like, I want Siobhan's microphones like immediately. Those
Yeah.
things were so
Siobhan's microphone has this, like, LED thing,
white and has, like, an LED at the bottom
like
that's, like,
like a
no
glowing.
some kinda thing going. She had 2 of them, like, so into it.
Yeah.
But, yeah, in general, I think it was just spectacular. I don't know if we'll ever I mean, we had so many newbies to go through that it probably might not have the need to do that in quite such a event
Yeah.
again. anytime soon.
Probably not 8 people at once, but I do think that, I do think we should have more like, hiring more people. So, hey, people out there, if you are looking for a extra money or a job change and you live in the Chicagoland area but, you know, what's interesting is that, like, in the early days, it was only women, and then I had one guy, and he was, like, my one guy for the first, like, 9 years that we were in existence, and then I slowly added a couple, like, 1 or 2 more dudes at a time, and then now we got a lot of dudes.
You say that, and I feel like we just have, like, the same amount. We're very even Steven, and then also to get out of the binary,
Sure, we
we
do
have
have non-binary, and we do have
yeah,
trans I mean,
exactly.
we've got the a whole spectrum in there, but I want more of them, and what's interesting is that, the Trump administration has made it so that you can't legally use DEI in your
By
hiring.
yourself, yeah, even if you want to.
So yeah, so I can't even say, like, women and BIPOC people are encouraged to apply because that looks like I am discriminating against white guys, and, wow, it's,
Yeah.
you know
But all that said, I mean, I think anyway, even though it might get us in trouble
yeah.
still
But yeah,
still
if you happen to be a woman or a non-binary or not white, we really want you
and also,
encourage you
like,
to
if
apply.
you don't wanna DJ, but you love being at events and engaging with people, we have many additional services that, our photo booths are all operated by wonderful hosts we call PBJs, photo
Mhm.
booth jockeys, and we do a lot of lighting and stuff these days and are always, the performance being genuine, showing up and really, that's the word I'm looking for, like, engaged, I guess, is the most important part of it all to me. It's
Yeah,
like,
and I
not the
do
kind of job that you pick and you just wanna, like, push buttons, like, you have to wanna engage with people.
yeah, it's like if it's a side job, it's like a side job to your soulless corporate job where you know, wanna have, interaction with humans on the other side, and I think that, I don't know, it made me yesterday made me, like I was like, "I can't believe this is mine." There was a you
Right.
know, that, like, everything was, like, working out so nicely, and it was like, "This is my company. Hmm,
Yeah.
look at this."
And shout out to the joiner for always, like, sort of being up for the kind of stuff that we, wanna do, and obviously we work there a ton, so it's awesome to, like, have that, they'll have any of the DJs from yesterday will have a leg up on their first joinery wedding, because they have already been there and seen the lay of the land and know where the bathrooms are. So, yeah.
You know, one time this is a horrible story, I don't even know if I should tell it.
Is it about the joinery?
I was at an event as a guest at the joinery once, and I had some, gastrointestinal distress in the
This is
bathroom.
the first time you and I were at an industry event together.
Okay,
It
so
was
you
a
were there.
TWA meeting,
Yes, and I,
and
like,
you
did
disappeared for a long time.
and then the toilet broke, and I was like, I was, like, Googling plumbing on a short notice,
Yeah.
learning how to do things. I was worse, and I had to basically go, like, I oh my god, it was the worst. I had to,
You
like, go
came
to
out and you
Shay
were
and
like, "I need water." You wanted a bucket of water to
yeah,
be able to pour into the toilet to try to help it complete its
like,
process.
force it. Did that work? I don't
Yeah.
even yeah, did it
And I
work?
wanna say, like, I had started in I don't think you tried that or we tried, and then it was just kinda like, "I'm walking away. It is what it is."
It was
I just remember
I think I
you might
found
have.
Shay and
Yeah.
I was like, "I'm sorry, what's in there is my fault." I owned up to it,
I believe
because
that. Yeah.
yeah,
Yes.
no,
But
I
do
smelt it
remember
and dealt it.
felt it and dealt it and then took accountability for it. But I remember just leaving that after, like, only having worked with you for, like, a couple of months at the time and being like, this is we're gonna have fun. If nothing else, this is gonna be a good time.
Or Mary lives in a boundaryless world. Well, she'll just tell me whatever she needs to
2 things can be true.
yeah.
But yeah, so joinery bathrooms, deep cut. But yeah, so I really no lip service when I say I am so optimistic and just thankful for the team that we've built over the past couple of years with, just like Molly, jumping in at the end of the night to like grab lights and start packing them up and just feeling that kind of like investment and support, even just like the little stuff that you wouldn't really think of, just being so happy that there are so many
Yeah.
people on our team that just kind of they see and do instead of like see and then waffle and be like, should I? Uh or ask for help, like I just feel like that's such a I don't know, it's my love language
Yeah.
is, being able to kind of, like Josh, our wonderful um social
Video guy.
media content friend, uh, like getting pulled over to do the job I was there to do, which was observe DJs, but trying to capture a lot of other stuff. And instead of waiting for me to like carry all the backdrops over to the new place we were going to do photo booth stuff, he's just picking up the backdrops and carrying them over. Like that's just the stuff that really, really speaks to me.
Well, and I think it's a little bit lost right now because nobody like I saw this Reddit post that was or whatever, a meme or something somewhere that basically said like, I think everyone's so mad right now and I mean for obvious political reasons, but I
Sure.
think like everybody
Justifiably.
kind of feels like everything's a scam. Like
Hmm.
it feels like every time I spend money anywhere, I know I'm paying more for it than I should or, I'm getting less for more money or I'm paying more and I'm getting less. Like we got like frozen salmon. Yeah, like we got frozen salmon, like you can get like a box or a pack of like 6
Yeah.
salmon fillets that are like sealed in like plastic chunks. And usually they're like 6 or 7 inches long, like they're like, you know, and it was 5 inches if it was a day. And I have so many jokes I could make right now. But it was like it was barely even a meal. I guess this is all just turning into
If
it's
you're
just this
watching, you're really getting a lot of more content than you would be getting on the audio version of this right now.
and my face is bright
And
red.
now her face is bright red, in fact. But yeah, or like just having to pay attention to like the ounces on things. Like as
Mhm.
a gluten-free consumer, it's like not only is it twice the cost, but it's 4 ounces less than the box of pasta that's next to it, and now the rest of the world is enjoying, that version of um, just everything being more expensive. I feel like I've been buying specialty products for a long time, and now my specialty products are also just like, $8 for my bread is $8.
Yeah. Oh, I went to CVS today to get stuff for my trip to Panama, and I was just buying, like, toothpaste and, travel size of things and shampoo, and it was $96.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I don't think I've ever spent more than, like, $32 at a CVS in my life. And so I
Breaking
guess
the hundo at the CVS is definitely like you are buying some shit, at least back in the day.
well, part of the problem is that I don't know if CVS is any better. I don't know what their parent corporation is or what their political situations are, but I've very done a relatively good job of avoiding Target. And so it's like, you do wind up paying a little bit more to drugstore than you're going to pay in a
Uh,
giant.
you gotta get on that, like Walgreens, or CVS, whichever one it is. They have a really good app with coupons on it. That's kind of the deal you gotta do there. 'Cause there's always some kinda like get 10 off 40, and it's just like, anything, and then it's like that's 25% of your $40
Yeah.
purchase anyway.
Yeah. So I guess, but the
Who's
thing
next
is that
to be
you
our
have,
next episode?
but the fact
Melissa.
that you have to get the app in order to get the discount is, it's like, it's just screwing over poor
Yeah.
people because whatever,
It's just
anyway.
a chill game, yeah. What's next on the horizon for us, Mary? I mean, we've kind of gotten through this January. Engagement season is upon us. I think we have, like, 10 near sold-out dates, which is exciting and
Yeah.
also terrifying.
I need those 8 DJs to, cross the Rubicon into booking so that we can
Yeah. Oh, they're crossing as we speak. But, yeah, it feels like the DJ showcase was really kind of the end of this big phase of push for new talent and kind of restructuring things. We've been, like, going back to, like, putting a lot of this to paper, right? Like, we did all of our experiments, we figured out what works, and now we need to get it in a place we can refer to it if this ever comes up
Yeah.
again so that we don't have to,
Yeah, that
reinvent
was
the
always
wheel.
my weakness was being able to Like, I would do things and I would do them great and everything would go and I just would never document it. And so it's funny when things go badly, I fucking go to the ends of the earth to figure out like why it happened. And I'm going to change my contract and I'm going to, hire a new lawyer. Like I will do anything when things go wrong. But when things go great, I'm like, that went great. Let's just let that
Get it
exist as its
never
own thing.
happened.
I'm never going to write down how we did it. And I'll never be able to 100% replicate it, but I'll do something similar. It'll be cool. And so this is the great thing. This is the beauty of having a Melissa in your world is that she will actually take it to 11 and document that shit.
I'm all for not having to start from the beginning, which is funny because, like, if I'm going to make something, I'm always using a recipe because I'm like, somebody else has figured out how to do this properly. Why would I, go rogue and then potentially whatever? And
That's how I know you're not Italian.
yeah, I'm definitely not Italian. I
Yeah.
might be Romanian. I don't really know, actually. I might
Don't
have
get
been
kidnapped.
kidnapped at some point. But yeah, it's like I like to at least have a starting place, as a reference point for DJ Showcase 2.0. We might not, do it exactly the same way, but at least we'll know what we did before and can make an educated decision
Mm-hmm.
about whether we want to deviate or replicate. So that's how I roll.
Yeah. So, well, I'm going to Panama this weekend to go to my annual yoga retreat.
Birthday, Panama,
My
so many
birthday's the week
things.
after.
Yep.
So my son's birthday. I'm always real weird about my birthday.
Mhm.
Real weird about my
Why, how are you
birthday.
weird about it?
How am I weird about it?
Yeah.
I mean, it's like a tragedy sinkhole.
Okay.
My birthday is like, I mean, I'll just real quick do this and we can deal with it in a later episode. But like the Challenger exploded on my like
Right.
10th birthday.
Yeah.
And then like my parents' divorce was final on my birthday. My dad's died on my 19th birthday. I mean, the list goes on. And my mom got diagnosed with a cancer that ultimately killed her on my somethingth birthday, 30-something birthday. So yeah, it's like
Got
one of
it.
these
So
things
it's
where
like
like,
kind of a breath holdy, shoe droppy kind of day.
yeah,
Like, if I
like
can get
shit.
through this one, yeah.
Yeah, so shit always kind of goes weird around my birthday, and so I just what was cool in the times when I was drinking was that I could just start drinking. Like I could always find somebody that would go to a 10 a.m. brunch, so I could start drinking as early as I possibly could, and then I
Sure.
would drink the whole day, so I didn't have to think about it. And I will tell you that first birthday after I quit drinking, oh my, I cried for like 36 hours straight.
Baby
And it was
girl.
like, man, when you can't just push those emotions down and like cover them up with red wine, they come out some way.
Yeah. I'm gonna go with your birthday last year was the time to be like, okay, that was the first half, right? And then like
Mhm.
now going forward, everything is puppy dogs and kittens and sunshines and rainbows on your birthday. That's what I'm gonna do. That's
All
what
right.
I'm
Well,
thinking about.
I'm looking
Okay.
forward to it. Looking
Yeah.
forward to it.
Mine's not long after yours.
I
So
know. Strong
I
Aquarian
really
energy.
strong Aquarian energy when I go into any place and I see immediately after they put the Christmas decorations away that the Valentine's decorations are out. And I'm just like, you bastards. Like, can I just have a minute before I
Yeah,
have
but
to
you
like,
got but your
well,
Valentine's
it's
Day birthday.
Valentine's Day, but it's also like, it's just like, okay, it's coming. Yeah, I get it. I see it. Thank you.
It's funny when I see the marketing, the Valentine's Day exercises, the
Mhm.
Valentine's Day decor is I'm
Yeah.
like, oh, what am I gonna get for wedding show swag?
Yes.
Because or
Yes.
wedding show decor because I always get Target. I guess
It's
I'm
the
not anymore from Target,
best
but
stuff. You'll have to check
yeah,
out what they got at the CVS, I guess, but bring your credit card.
yeah. So
All
anyway,
right.
all right. Well, this is a good one. Hope you guys out there in the world are fascinated by what we just talked about, and I'll see you next week on
That's
All Up in
right.
My Lady Business.
Bye-bye.
Woo! Thanks for listening to All Up in My Lady Business with me, Mary Nisi. We'd love for you to like, review, subscribe, follow us at All Up in My Lady Business on the gram. And if you're a female identifying person and you want to dance, you can follow. I mean, everybody can follow it, but if you want to be a part of the magic at Hot Flash Dance Party, sign up for the mailing list to find out where our next party is going to be. And if you are looking for a DJ in the Chicagoland area or anywhere else, money's the same color everywhere. Fly us out. ToastandJamDJs.com has the best. And listen to my radio show. I have a radio show on Chirp Radio at chirpradio.org. That's Mondays, every Monday from 12 until 3 p.m. CST. Today's episode is produced by Shiraz Dada. Theme song composed and performed by, you guessed it, Shiraz Dada. All right, guys. Peace out.